It is April. The winter rains have ended, and with the increasing heat, this landscape will become parched and unbearably hot by summer. So right now is the ideal time to explore this land. I'm bringing no food on this journey, so I will rely on my body's own energy reserves and the edible foods I find in the wilderness. All I'm bringing with me are these basic provisions: cargo pants, deerskin poncho, simple sandals, a bowie knife with sheath, a calabash bottle gourd, a ferro rod to start fires. Before I start, there is one thing I forgot to bring: a belt. Yucca is one of the most useful plants in this desert. Different parts of yucca can be used as food, soap, and to make rope and other useful things. I want to thank today's sponsor, CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream is an on-demand platform for award-winning science, technology, history, and nature documentaries. I personally love the series on the history of food and early man. Since kids are spending more time at home, CuriosityStream is inviting families to stay curious with enhanced kids programming and an incredibly good deal for an annual subscription. Right now, you can get thousands of nonfiction titles and kid-friendly documentaries for just $12 for the whole year. That's just $1 a month. So go to curiositystream.com and enter promo code Tarzan for 31 days free of great nature, outdoors, and history documentaries. I did.
Big cats are normally shy and very secretive.
From this undisclosed starting point in the desert, I will wander over the foothills and into the mountains to where I've never gone before. I have only enough water for one day, so finding water will be my number one priority. I don't know what materials I will find once I get into the mountains, so I collect dried grass now to use as tinder later. Fortunately, water is readily available, at least right here. This evidence leads me to believe that I will also find water deeper in the mountains. When determining if water is safe to drink, I consider where it is coming from. I know that it is very unlikely that there are humans contaminating this water further upstream. This water also filters through the earth above these boulders. There is always a risk when drinking water from natural sources, but I think the risk is very low in this situation. To further reduce the risk, you can either use a quality water filter such as the Sawyer or Life Straw, or boil the water before drinking. I left the stream and crossed over a small mountain, and on the other side I sat down to rest and found the most aromatic plant I have ever smelled, but I didn't know what it was. By the way, that is a bundle of yucca fibers tied to the front of my poncho. You just never know when you may need some yucca fibers. I was so grateful to find another water source at the bottom of the canyon, as well as something else that I hadn't expected to find. Cattail fluff is one of my favorite tinders to use when making fires. Plus, parts of the cattail plant can be eaten too. The presence of cattails here leads me to believe that this stream is a year-round water source. With water and food available, this is the perfect location to make my camp. The material that I'm collecting isn't to make a fire. I'm going to use branches and green vegetation to make a simple shelter. When collecting dead and live vegetation, it is important to only take a small amount from each plant so that the natural condition of the plant isn't drastically changed. I like to think of myself as a gardener of nature. We can prune and trim the wild plants and trees in such a way as to actually help nature grow and flourish. You see? I knew those yucca leaves would come in handy. The nights aren't very cold at this time of year, so I'm not too concerned about completely covering the shelter. This shelter is mostly intended to keep wild animals out and help me feel more secure while I rest. As the night goes on, the temperature will continue to drop, and I will rely more and more on the heat of the fire to keep me comfortable enough to sleep. Sleeping directly on the sand isn't too bad. One advantage of sand is that it can be easily molded to the contour of my body to provide better back support than the hard ground. There will be about 8 more hours of darkness. Then the sun will rise again.